It's Thursday, March 14. In the headlines, a new police commissioner has been appointed. In business news, an increase in the capital threshold for companies listed on the JSE's junior market. Regionally, UN warns of hunger rising as gangs reign in Haiti. And in sports, Reggae Boys under-20 coach eager to get started. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. Dr. Kevin Blake is the new Commissioner of Police. He's being described as a wind of transformation in the Jamaica Constabulary Force through technology and other means that has seen different areas of the JCF. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of National Security Dr. Horace Chang announced Dr. Blake's appointment during Wednesday's post-cabinet press briefing at Jamaica House.
This morning, I received a copy of a letter appointing Dr. Kevin Blake as the new police commissioner, effective March 19, 2024.
The new commissioner edged the other 3 deputy commissioners of police who applied for the job.
All 4 deputy commissioners were interviewed and looked at, because we think we have reached a level in the force where the promotional process is such that the individuals who rise to the top all have the capacity to go forward. And we had 4 deputies who I think were excellent police officers. They were interviewed, and the Service Commission identified Dr. Kevin Blake, who is among the younger deputy commissioners, as the best prospect to lead the force at this point in time.
Dr. Blake, who joined the JCF on a special entry program as an assistant superintendent, advanced to the position of Assistant Commissioner of Police in 2013. He was promoted to DCP in June 2020. He has also served as the head of the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, National Intelligence Bureau, and Area 3 Police. Dr. Blake has a PhD, High Commendation in Sustainable Development. Revising the thresholds for procurement of goods, services, and works in public sector entities means more nimble contracting procedures, leading to increased pace of contract formation. That's the explanation given by Finance and Public Service Minister Dr. Nigel Clark as he announced the upcoming changes during his opening contribution to the budget debate for the 2024-2025 fiscal year.
The move will be facilitated through amendments to the Public Procurement Act 2015 and its regulations.
We have reviewed the Procurement Act, and we're going to be proposing some amendments to the legal and institutional framework, and we need to get it through the system quickly. For example, Madam Speaker, in the case of contracts for goods and services, we'll be increasing the threshold below which single-source procurement is permissible from $1.5 million to $3 million, Madam Speaker. The $1.5 million threshold has been in place for almost a decade. And for works, it will go from $2 million to $5 million.
Dr. Clark also announced that the limits required for approval from the Public Procurement Commission will move from $30 million to at least $60 million.
We are going to be empowering procuring entities to have more autonomy and to award higher value contracts without need for external approval. These things will speed up the pace at which the government can deliver.
As it relates to the mandatory standstill period of 10 days between the date of procurement decision and the date of award.
The intention is good enough, because we're like, again, it's built for negativity. Oh, if there's just in case somebody gets upset, we have to have a 10-day, the procurement done, you're ready to go. You have to sit down for 10 days, 2 weeks, and wait, because what? Somebody going to come and complain or whatever. Now, I can understand that for the large material procurement. But my God, to hold up the whole system, the whole procurement system, 10 days, for what? Madam Speaker, we're going to shave unnecessary delay, and we're going to abolish this mandatory standstill.
The sector committee stage will also be removed. For the news on PBCJ, I'm Danita Rodney.
The Child Protection and Family Services Agency is on a coordinated drive to improve the quality of services it provides to children at risk.
Addressing a JS think tank on Tuesday, Chief Executive Officer at the CPFSA, Laureate Adams-Thomas, said that even though the agency covers a broad scope, they are focused on being a benchmark entity of child protection.
The CPFSA, while it has a broad mandate, is really now focused on strengthening its position as the benchmark child protection entity in the Caribbean. And then to go further, to gain international recognition as a leader within the child protection sector. That is where we intend to go.
She says in order to accomplish such tasks, several initiatives will be undertaken.
This can only be realized with the implementation of various programs and initiatives. And so there are some things that we are going to be embarking on that I am of the view, and the team is of the view, that is long overdue. And there are other areas that we intend to strengthen.
Mrs. Thomas said one of these initiatives is the strengthening of policies and procedures governing the operations of residential childcare facilities.
So what we intend to do is to have a comprehensive review of the protocols, the standards of operating, looking at our various manuals with a view to ensuring that where there are gaps, we can actually bridge those gaps, identify those areas that definitely needs to be addressed, and then to strengthen the level of oversight as well that we provide to the homes to ensure that they're actually operating in accordance with the respective guidelines.
Reporting for the news on PBCJ, I am Danita Rodney.
The Mustard Seed Children's Home is communicating with a children's home in Haiti to get their wards safely out of that country. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, told the press on Wednesday, getting the orphans to Jamaica is a delicate process.
There is an orphanage that is run by a private charity in Haiti that cares for just under 50 of the most disabled children that have been abandoned by their families, the most severely disabled children. And a local charity, the Mustard Seed community, has been working with them for the past, I would say, year. We have tried to facilitate engagements as much as we have been able to, but it's private charity to private charity that is seeking to take responsibility for the care for these most vulnerable children.
Haiti's society has been overpowered by gangs and violence in the last week. Senator Johnson-Smith says the home has not been spared.
The orphanage has been under attack from gangs. Gangs have come in and stolen all their food and their medicine. They have had children die on their way to try to get care, medical care. It is really one of the most horrific circumstances in which the most vulnerable children have been at greater risk in the circumstances, and therefore we're trying to work on the way to legally receive for care by Mustard Seed community here in Jamaica.
Cabinet has approved the map for the proposed parish of Portmore, prepared by the National Land Agency. Minister of Information Robert Morgan made the announcement during Wednesday's post-cabinet press brief.
Cabinet also gave approval after consideration for the map of the proposed parish of Portmore prepared by the National Land Agency.
The creation of a new parish would be the first time since 1867. In 2022, the House of Representatives approved the motion of Portmore to become a parish. The House voted followed 2 weeks of debate on a report from the JSC of the Parliament that considered parish status for Portmore. A bill was later drafted to be tabled in Parliament. The bill has implications for the boundaries of the municipality as well as ability of residents to directly elect their mayor. During the question and answer segment of the post-cabinet press brief, Minister Morgan responded to a question about the next step in the process.
Well, the next step is to go to Parliament to get approval. The approval of the map is pretty much a technical step that included surveying. As you know, this process has started a very long time ago, from I think as far back as in the 2000s. And there were town halls, discussions with the citizens of Portmore. And NLA was engaged, the Portmore Municipal Corporation was engaged, and various other stakeholders within and outside of government were engaged to come up with this boundary. And then the next step is to table, to amend the bill in Parliament so that Portmore can finally become a parish, which is a commitment that this government has consistently made.
Jamaica has been named Global Destination of the Year at the renowned travel trade show ITB in Berlin. The award was presented by the Pacific Area Travel Writers Association, PATWA. The PATWA is a non-profit international media organization of travel writers founded in 1999, and the award seeks to recognize organizations, destinations, and brands and individuals achieving the highest standards in their field. In accepting the award on behalf of the destination, Minister of Tourism Edmund Bartlett said, quote, "Jamaica is known for its food, music, and indeed love, so we are humbled to be recognized for these experiential offerings to our visitors that provide meaningful memories," end quote. Time now for the business report with Denise Williams.
Good day, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the Business Report. I'm Denise Williams, your guide through the latest happenings in the world of business. In the 2024-2025 budget debate, Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark announced plans to increase the capital threshold for companies listed on the junior market of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. The threshold will rise from 500 million Jamaican dollars to 750 million Jamaican dollars, pending an amendment to the Income Tax Act. Marlene Street Forrest, Managing Director of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, expressed optimism about the move's positive impact on the market and economy. This adjustment aims to energize the market, encouraging both existing and potential listed companies to engage more actively. The junior market, established in 2009, has seen several companies listed, but there are currently 48 active companies, with some, such as Lasco Manufacturing and Lasco Distributors, migrating to the senior market. Blue Power Group Limited for the 9 months ended January 31, 2024 reported a 1% decrease in revenue totaling $624.10 million compared to $633.39 million in the corresponding period last year. Cost of sales amounted to $382.08 million, coming down from the 2023 figure of $505.5 million, which represents a decrease of 24% year over year. As a result, profits from operations for the 9 months ended January 31, 2024, amounted to $109.78 million, a 722% increase relative to the $13.35 million reported in 2023. After taxes, net profit increased by 312% to $120.30 million, up from the 2023 figure of $29.20 million. JN Life Insurance Company Limited is reporting that it increased its share of the life insurance market in 2023 while recording creditable performances across its business lines. The company also increased its share of group life insurance, while its pension business, the JN Individual Retirement Scheme, also achieved a staggering 261% of its annual pension contributions target. Further underscoring the company's performance, General Manager of JN Life, Hugh Reed, explained that in 2023, the sales team broke its individual life historical sales records 3 times, similar to 2023, with a significant percentage of sales being generated as a result of the relationship with JN Bank. Reed shared that JN Life also set 3 new historical records in pension contributions. During trading on March 13, 2024, the top advancing stocks covered the media, entertainment, and real estate sectors on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. The Limners and Bards Limited shares advanced by 20.95% for a 31-cent price jump to close at $1.79 with 48,000 shares traded. Margaritaville Turks Limited shares advanced by 20% for a 2-cent price increase to close at 12 cents with 100 shares traded. 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited shares advanced by 13.61% for a 52-cent upward movement to close at $4.34 with 108,694 shares traded. On the declining stocks that traders experienced on March 13, 2024, the top 3 losers covered the finance, food, and energy sectors. Epley Limited declined by 11.72% for a $4.61 price decrease to close at $34.72 with 22 shares traded. Caribbean Cream Limited declined by 10.77% for 42 cents price drop to close at $3.48 with 47,669 shares traded. Siboney Group Limited declined by 9.38% for a 12-cent price slippage to close at $1.16 with 12,251 shares traded. Over on the Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange, trading on March 13, 2024, registered a volume of 103 shares crossing the floor, the exchange valued at TT $1,172. Endeavor Holdings Limited was the volume leader with 63 shares, changing hands for a value of TT $932.40, followed by Cinnamon Limited with a volume of 40 shares being traded for TT $239.60. Moving from the money moves of investors, executives, and companies, we turn to the Forex market. On March 13, 2024, the Bank of Jamaica reported that US $33.4 million was bought from Forex traders while US $20.1 million was sold to Forex traders. Buying directly from the Bank of Jamaica, foreign currency traders sold the US dollar for $155.56 and bought the US dollars for $154.33. The difference between the buy and sell rate was $1.23, which represents a profit for Forex traders for every US dollar traded. Canadian Forex traders earned a trading profit of $6.81 from transactions with the Bank of Jamaica. The Canadian dollar was sold at $116.44 and bought for $109.63. For traders looking at the British pound, they pocketed a profit of $1.48, selling it for $197.88 and buying it for $196.40. For the credit report tip of the day, feeling hesitant about talking to bankers about your credit report? Well, instead of focusing on past financial setbacks or worrying about what might go wrong, shift your mindset to focus on the positive outcomes you want to achieve. Visualize yourself confidently discussing your financial goals with a banker and securing the funding you need to make those dreams a reality. Positive thinking can go a long way in boosting your confidence and motivation. And with that, we wrap up today's business report. I'm Denise Williams. Appreciate your company. Stay well informed, stay ahead of the curve. Until our next update, take care.
In regional news, Haiti's political crisis and gang control exacerbate famine, putting over 1 million at risk. The child malnutrition akin to war zones. The dire situation in Haiti is a result of a combination of factors including political instability, economic collapse, and gang violence. Al Jazeera's John Holman reports.
While Haiti's political crisis plays out, more than 1 million people are now on the brink of famine. That's coming from the World Food Programme, which is struggling to feed them. It's a losing battle because the country, and especially the capital, are cut off from outside supplies.
Port-au-Prince is essentially in a bubble. The roads in and out of Port-au-Prince have been controlled by armed groups for a long time. These past few days, the ports have been closed and there have been no incoming flights. And we're seeing food prices rise. We're seeing scarcity of some food items.
Gangs are in control of vast swathes of the capital. It's them choking off the entryways. They've been doing it for years, but it's escalated in recent weeks as they've clamoured for Prime Minister Ariel Henry to quit. Now he says he'll go as soon as an interim Prime Minister is named. But as that political crisis plays out, people are struggling to provide for their families. Ducher Reginald lives in Sansville, one of the poorer parts of the capital. They've been especially affected by food shortages.
The problem of hunger is very difficult for me and for all Haitians. I live with 5 children as well as my mother, all of whom I take care of and feed every day. It's no small matter. This is the worst experience in life. We live in a country where people's rights are not respected.
Haitian children especially are at risk. Even before the recent escalation in violence, 1 in 4 suffered from chronic malnutrition. And the World Food Programme says it's now running through its reserves. Once those give out, things could get worse.
The children in Port-au-Prince, the most vulnerable part of the population, are at greatest risk. In the commune of Croix-des-Bouquets in Port-au-Prince, you've got malnutrition rates that are as high as they are in war zones.
The hope of some is that once a transition government's established, the country can reopen and supplies can get where they need to be. But that appears to depend as much on the gangs as the politicians. A powerful, unpredictable force in the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. John Holman, Al Jazeera, the Dominican Republic.
Barbados and CARICOM have told a high-level meeting about the linkages between improved access to financing for development and the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. SDGs cannot and should not be ignored. The 68th session of the Commission on the Status of Women heard from Minister of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs Kirk Humphrey that the eradication of poverty is central to reducing women's vulnerability to climate change and other adversities.
Climate finance for both adaptation and mitigation efforts must be responsive to differentiated gender needs and the empowerment of women, including by supporting women-owned micro, small and medium-sized enterprises in the green and blue economies. CARICOM therefore also looks forward to the 4th Conference of Small Island Developing States being held in Antigua and Barbuda on the 27th to 30th of May 2024 with the theme Charting the Course Toward Resilient Prosperity, which is expected to deliver significant outcomes crucial for the long-term development of small island developing states. However, that this can only be achieved by addressing the structural and other multidimensional forms of poverty, strengthening social protection systems, and via gender-responsive financing to support better alignment of national budgets with sustainable development goals. We acknowledge that while the region has experienced some progress in addressing the systematic poverty that affects our countries, the stark reality is that much more still needs to be done.
The Tobago Emergency Management Agency says Tobago is not yet in the clear after last month's oil spill. Authorities in Tobago say they are still on alert for any spill over hydrocarbons, despite a noticed de-escalation of activities around affected coastlines.
Director of the Tobago Emergency Management Agency, Alan Stewart, said a different type of cleanup has started without the use of heavy equipment, which involves power washing of rocks to flush out any remaining hydrocarbon. However, he said they have not let their guard down until the all clear is given.
We have been getting the technical advices where those matters are concerned in an effort as we scale back the operations. But we are very mindful, let me repeat it again, that vessel still have a content of hydrocarbon that we have to pay attention to. Otherwise, we may just be going through the eye of the storm where on the other side we could be hit again.
Mr. Stewart also lauded the work done by TNT Salvage to assist in the cleanup operations.
In terms of the implementation of the Novi system, that technology is working fine, where it is scooping up the oil that is at sea, and even based on what the plan from the Ministry of Energy and Energy Enterprises speaks to whatever is leaving our shores and heading to other territories. There are 4 vessels involved, I'm being told, and 2 of the Novi system has been deployed here on the island around our coastline, and the other 2 are deployed out at sea doing the necessaries.
In sports, we kick off with football. Jerome Waite is confident about his ability to make strides as head coach of the Under-20 Reggae Boys as they head into the qualifiers this summer for the FIFA Under-20 Men's World Cup next year. Mr. Waite says he'll be looking towards getting as many training sessions with the team because he has only 3 months to prepare before the start of the CONCACAF Under-20 Championships. Mr. Waite, who coaches Tivoli Gardens in the Ray and Nephew Jamaica Premier League, makes a return to the national setup after being removed as the senior Reggae Boys assistant coach in 2021. He also led the Under-20 team during their World Cup qualifiers in 2018. In cricket news, following discussions during the 46th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community, CARICOM, Dr. Kishore Shallow, President of Cricket West Indies, affirmed the organization's commitment to ensuring accessible ticket sales for the upcoming ICC Men's T20 World Cup. Acknowledging the region's reliance on cash transactions and the importance of inclusive access to sporting events, Dr. Shallow emphasized Cricket West Indies' leadership in facilitating widespread participation in the tournament. And that's it for the news on PBCJ. Pleasant viewing.